congratulations to everybody. You guys are all having such fabulous weeks. It's Boss Babes week number 5. You guys were almost to the end. Super excited for all the things that I know. I want Kelly to share actually here in a second. So I didn't tell her. She can tell she's on the spot. But our purpose throughout this whole Boss Babes Trailblazing series is to help you build in new areas. And Kelly actually did that. So I would love for you guys to drop in the chat, like if you guys got your points tallied up for this week, how many points did you do? I had 50. It wasn't a very hot week for seeing new faces. I did a lot of other parts of my business. And so I was a little bummed with myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go really hard this week. So drop in your way to go, Kelly, Deb, Chase, 50. That's awesome. I don't know if I'm missing any, but Kelly, I wanted you to share because you had shared with us that you had reached out to one of your scary ladies, I think, who was like way up north, farthest north. So I want you to share how that experience was and what happened.
Yeah, I did my circle like they talked about. I think Linda Tupin talked about it in week 1, and then Judy, is it Judy or whatever her name was last week, talked about it too. And so I really kind of focused on that. And going north from me is like McCall Council up Highway 95. And so I talked to a friend of mine in Midvale, and she's kind of like that person that like in that entire town, like everybody would know who she is. She and I've been friends for a long time. She was actually my director when I was in a different direct sales company. And so I reached out to her to see if she would be willing to host a party for Mary Kay at her house up in Midvale. And she replied back. It took her like a day, and she's like, you know what? I'm so burnt out on the party thing because of all the years in direct sales. She's like, but I would love to support you, and I'm going to send referrals to you. And I have a name for you that I think would be willing to do the party. And then I also want to order the repair set. And then she ordered herself the repair set. She ordered her husband the men's line, and she ordered 2 miracle sets for her daughters. And so even though she didn't have a party, technically through basically her trust in me and explaining the products and sending texts and stuff back and forth, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 new skincare customers out of it. So I'm still counting it kind of as like a party and a win. And then there's more to come out of it because she's going to refer people onto me. And even though my initial relationship with her wasn't through Mary Kay, it was through direct selling, and she knows me and trusts me and knows my heart with all that kind of stuff. And so it still was like a huge win because you just never know when somebody's going to come in and out of your life and why they may be there. And so here we are like 15 years later, and she's helping me with this venture. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. I when you told me, I was like, yes, it's amazing because now, and you never know what's going to come from those 4. Maybe
Yeah.
one of her daughters or somebody that she knows is going to want to sign up and start building that area too. So
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure you got recognized for that because you're doing
Thank you.
exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and it was a little scary because, like I said, she was my director in the other company. And so, there was like that reverence feeling for her, like, we, I guess, feel like our directors and stuff here. And so she was kind of a scary lady for me. Like, I didn't want to mess it up. And I finally got out of myself and asked her anyways, and it went really well.
That is so great. Congratulations. And I want to give a shout out to Jana because she is our queen of points with 335 points. So she did the highest this week. Way to go. And then also Rebecca, she was invited to go to the fair in Coeur d'Alene. That's so exciting.
Oh,
So she's going to be building in that area as well. I know she's also heads up the fair in Spokane, and that's coming up soon. So I know you're going to be doing some amazing stuff, Rebecca. Excited for you. All right. Well, tonight we have National Sales Director Dawn Otten Sweeney, and I had never heard of her before. So I'm going to share a couple of her accolades here really quick before we get started because I like hearing them. So let's see here.
oh
So
my
some
gosh.
of Dawn's career highlights are that she won top director trips 12 out of her 15 years
Oh my
of being a
gosh.
director before she was a national. Like that is amazing. 2 years of over $1 million in unit production. She was the #1 unit in Emerald Seminar and #6 in the nation in her highest year. Highest commission check, not including free cars and product sales, you guys. This is just her unit commissions, was over $36,000 in 1 month. Her 1099, she's had over $100,000 for the last 30 years on her 1099 that she gets from the company, for the last 30 years, and in excess of $4 million in leadership earnings. Plus, she's been driving pink Cadillacs for 34 years as well. Um, I just think that it's freaking amazing. And she has over 50 carats of diamond rings, bar pins, and bumblebees, and the coveted Miss Go Give award. And she's currently a national sales director for the past 20 years, who takes her role as a legacy leader very seriously. And her skyscraper area is building to Inner Circle as they support the growth of multiple national areas over the next 3 years. So we're going to see lots of great things come from her. She's from Canton, Michigan, and her name is Dawn Ottenswamy. So we're going to hear from her now. Let me share my screen. And you guys, I don't know how to get rid of ads, but you're going to know what I'm shopping for when the ads start playing. So it's a game.
That's awesome.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boss Babe Trailblazer Edition. And I could not be more excited that Karen Rydell asked me to participate in this. And it's not by accident. It's not by accident that you're listening and you're in Mary Kay right now. And it's not by accident that Karen asked me. And all the speakers are going to serve a role in this. I promise you, because you are part of a trailblazing DNA pioneering opportunity mission field for women. And God had to remind me about this feature of our DNA when COVID-19 happened. Pandemic happened. World shut down. My husband owns a gym and conditioning facility. We live in Michigan. Our state was closed down the soonest and possibly the longest. His business was one of the first to go. And at that point in time, I was not a digital diva. I could not have done this. I didn't have a laptop. I had a hard drive the size of a dishwasher in my home, hooked up to the wall that me and my assistant worked on, because I've been in Mary Kay 38 years. Our trailblazing was done in cars, in airplanes, hotel rooms, training centers, women's kitchen tables, offices, etc. And all of a sudden, we are sitting in our tiny little unrenovated 60-year-old lake house. And I'm realizing, well, okay, well, the majority of my income is not made from selling this product. And if we can't get product and my people can't get product, there's no income coming into our family at all. That's kind of a scary thought that I've never had in my 4 years up to that point in time. But what God reminded me is that you have been a trailblazer. You have been a pioneer all along. You were warm booked in a mall. You were raised to do a good job and get in a great school and have a good job and be a good person and go to church on Sunday and Monday through Friday, work hard and raise your family if you could figure out as a woman how to do that around that schedule. And Saturday have recreation, work to retire, have some great vacation time in between. That's what I was raised for. And then all of a sudden, I'm realizing with this job out of college that this is get up, go to work, come home, watch TV, eat dinner, go to bed. Get up, go to work, come home, watch TV, eat dinner, go to bed. At the city they choose, regardless of what's going on in my life. It doesn't matter what's going on with, my family or my husband or my kids to be or aging parents or the part of the country. Doesn't matter. This is the job you're supposed to do. Period. The end. And there's something about that didn't settle well with me. I didn't like making less than men for doing the same job. I didn't like that someone else had control over my time and my finances versus my willingness and my coachability and my dreams and goals. And so, voila, sitting in a mall in the middle of the day, I was warm booked to be a face model for a new consultant's portfolio. Debbie Moore made her talk to me because that new consultant, Nancy Murata, was very shy. Nancy came to my apartment, me and my roommate tried the skincare, bought basic skincare, blush rouge, yellow concealer, and loved it. And then she invited me to an event. And at that event, that's where I started to get the inkling, like, I think this is my tribe. Like, I think these are the women I'm supposed to be with. Like, they're encouraging each other. I never, ever felt like I fit in with any group. I could hang out with all the different groups, but never felt like I fit in. Until in Mary Kay, oddly, I did feel like I fit in. And it wasn't because we were the same age, education, language, body shape, makeup preference. Nope. There was something about this tribe that I went, and I realized, looking back, they were trailblazers. They were women from 18 to 90, PhDs, GEDs, moms of 10 kids, single women, divorced, widowed, living all little towns, big towns, extroverted, introverted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they had a desire to blaze a new trail, to be a pioneer. And Mary Kay gave them the mission as she has given it to us. So you are a trailblazer, whether you've recognized it or not. It's in your DNA, or I don't believe that you'd be with us in Mary Kay right now, where we need women trailblazing straight to the top. If you have a leadership bent, we need you. If you don't have a leadership bent, could you please find some leaders? Your director is going to help you do that. Absolutely. And that is called passing it on, which Mary Kay Ash, she wasn't just a trailblazer for her own trail. She did this so that we would have a trail to walk on, but knowing that she couldn't know all the things that have happened in the last 62 years of this company, that everything would be shut down and our business that we prided on being in person could be revolutionized to be able to do it with a computer screen in between us. You guys, I look back at the times I was given an opportunity to make a traditional decision.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Bateman. You need Batman.
Stop. Whoa, cat lady, time out.
Or an unconventional trailblazing decision. Definitely getting my starter kit that night. Post-dated check, not enough, more month than money. That was a risk, but you had electronic banking then, so I covered it. Also, too, Debbie Moore was there, and she had quit her teaching job with a pink Cadillac and a small child to be at home and make 4 times what she was making as a teacher. That was a trailblazing idea. I had not seen people go from their college educated jobs to direct sales ever. That was pretty untraditional in the late 80s, definitely unconventional in my family. My family was not supportive. Family and friends were not supportive. In my first 36 months in Mary Kay, I signed up in Cleveland, went back to Michigan for 17 weeks while my husband went to the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center to become a federal agent. And then we found out we were stationed in Douglas, Arizona. And 1 year, 12 months after that, he was asked to be an instructor back at the Law Enforcement Training Center. So we moved to St. Simons Island, Georgia. My first 36 months, 4 states, 9 addresses, from Cleveland to Metro Detroit to right on the Mexican border, 9,000 people. Half didn't speak a word of English, and I didn't speak a word of Spanish. And then St. Simons Island, small golf resort island. A lot of people move there to have that pre-retirement life or a real laid back, beautiful life. So those 4 areas, 36 addresses, and my husband going through a super intense training program that if you failed any of the tests, it was done. You were done. And he had waited 2 years to get this position. And then that 17 weeks of the academy. And then we got married and moved, his wife across the country. So that was trailblazing. That was very unconventional for his family. Mom, nurse, dad, teacher. You're going to realize, I hope, in the process of this study, that you are far more of a trailblazer and a pioneer than you've given yourself credit for. And that when God lays something on your heart, he always provides for it, always. It's just our responsibility to be obedient. And we know what obedience looks like in Mary Kay. It's book, coach, sell, recruit. Do it again. Book, coach, sell, recruit. Do it again. Whether you have a computer screen in between you or you're out with people. I can look at a couple different situations, all those moves. Did Queen's Court of Sales down in Douglas, Arizona with a flip chart in Spanish and a brochure in Spanish. It made me realize that it wasn't my personality. I didn't have to be extroverted. I didn't have to be anything other than help those women feel better about themselves. Take a translator sometimes. They handed over cash and I handed over products and did Queen's Court of Sales and earned a car at the end of that year. And then my husband's job moved us. So I went to seminar, because you go to 4 events a year, because Trailblazers, we play by the rules of the game, but we're willing to figure out things because your journey is going to look different than anyone else's. But isn't that great? That is what allows us to do God first, family second, career third. See, if everyone's had to look the same, that balance would not be something that you would get to work with 100% of the time. And I guarantee you 100% of my 38 years, I've gotten to work with God first, family second, career third. Actually, this is where I met God. I knew who he was, but had no relationship. That all happened through Mary Kay. Wow, that's trailblazing right there for eternity. My son was born, fairly new director. My second year, just picked up my first Cadillac, had an emergency C-section, lived way away from family. So when people say family isn't supportive, or they live far away, or I don't have help with my kids, or it's a small town, or it's too big of a town, or I have another job. I had another job, 80 hours a week when I started this. I did a perfect start in 2 weeks, did the math and said, bye-bye. And from that day forward was responsible for figuring out how to make enough money to pay for either rent or now a mortgage, to earn a car. So I no longer had a car or insurance payment, to pay for groceries, electric, the whole deal. There's been seasons of my business that my husband's made more than enough money for a whole family to live on very comfortably, GS 14 position. But there was something about this opportunity that God said, no, this has nothing to do with what your husband makes or doesn't make. I need you staying forward focused to be a trailblazer here. And now I know why, because we're in a time period in Mary Kay, batons need to be passed. We need to be finding those women while you're doing your book, coach, sell, recruit, the 4-part recruiting plan. Be out there, in front of people with the product. Nothing happens until you sell something, but this is not about selling the product. We use the product as a vehicle to meet the trailblazers. And you will know who they are because they start to lean in when you're talking about the opportunity in Mary Kay's story and where you were, where you started and where you're going to. People aren't used to hearing women talk about goals and dreams. I had never heard that. That was not something they taught me at the University of Michigan Business School. What's your dream? Yeah, conversation never happened. Thought never happened until I was in Mary Kay. And I'm like, oh, wow, like I have no idea. I really haven't thought about a dream. I want to give you guys a book because Mary Kay said one of the keys to success was to read every single day. She was politically incorrect. She said the Bible in the morning and an inspirational book at night or sometime in the afternoon. Schedule it. No one has time just laying around to read. It has to be scheduled. All of my reading time is scheduled. But the longer I've been in Mary Kay, the more I realize I have to continue changing my thinking because my DNA is trailblazing and pioneering. I now know, but I didn't know how to do it. You may not even know how to do it. You may not even know what you don't know. I guarantee you, if you will do the Mary Kay book, coach, sell, recruit, as your director teaches you, and do it again and again and again, and get your hands on all the books that Mary Kay has read, or someone has written about her so that you know about this ultimate trailblazer, she's going to sound a lot like you. And you're going to be excited to represent a company of trailblazers. But while you're out there, we need to be passing these batons on because women need this business as much or more than when Mary Kay had this laid on her heart 62 years ago. When my son was 3 months old, he had to have an open heart surgery, which was on an emergency basis. I left my home in June and was in Jacksonville, Florida for a week to stabilize him and then air ambulanced up to Ann Arbor, Michigan. I will tell you guys that was a huge turning point for me and my husband. I had Mary Kay directors drive in that weren't mine. They were not part of my lineage. They just drove in and did my meetings and helped out while I was gone at the end of a Mary Kay seminar year. My husband was a federal agent with those golden handcuff insurance benefits that I talk about. And no one gave him vacation time. No one helped him out. Actually, it was before the Family Security Act. So he took work without pay. And the great insurance we had from the government, from him being a federal agent, would pay for open heart surgery for Jake in Jacksonville, Florida, but they would not necessarily pay for the air ambulance, which was, I don't know, a lot of money, tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars, because they said he could have his surgery there. But that was two open heart surgeries, two separate open heart surgeries versus one. There was a physician that had invented a one-step open heart surgery for infants for tetralogy of flow. And so, you know what? I did not have that money in a savings account, but as there was something with this business, like I knew I'd regret it if I didn't try it. I also knew I'd regret if I didn't try being a Cadillac director, and did do that 6 months as a new director in a town that no one did meetings in because the director that was there said that it was too small. She went up to Savannah or down to Jacksonville, Florida. Wow. I became a director and earned a Cadillac in 6 months. I was there on St. Simon's, gosh, for 15 years. Earned 13 trips. It was the base to my $1 million units in national area. Moved up to Detroit when God called me and my husband to come back home and again trailblaze, because there was not any technology at that point in time. So I had to record all my training on cassette tapes and have 800 numbers and free conference call. I figured that all out myself. Like, that was necessary. There's going to be stuff God's going to give you strategic ideas. The book recommendation is Multiplying Your God-Given Potential by John Bevere, Bevere. I love this book because it's going to teach you how God works with strategic ideas. That was like dreams. I had never heard of that before. Also, too, it's all based on Matthew 30:14 through 25. And that is what Mary Kay, that's why. Matthew 25:14 through 30. Oh, I think I'm dyslexic and maybe a little ADD. So and social anxiety for sure. So if those are anything that you've dealt with, this business is a great way to work through it without, it's going to save you drugs and lots of counseling. God's going to use this as a potter wheel. But Matthew 25:14 through 30. Mary Kay signed that on my dollar bill when I left her home at new director training a long time ago, 36 years ago. And that whole book is about that. It's about being willing to take a risk. It's about the parable of the talents and the person that buries their talents and doesn't use it to God's full potential for you. Not for what the world sees. The world may think that you're very successful and, you have it all made, but you know that you haven't taken the steps to throw your heart across the line to reach God's full potential for you towards your big dream. And Mary Kay, she told us more so than any accolade that we could achieve. She said, if you do not hear good and faithful servant at the end, then none of the other stuff is worthwhile. That was a trailblazing statement. I had never met a woman like Mary Kay before. There was this concern about my spiritual and my personal, my marriage and my child rearing years, as she was the success that I brought to this company. She's a trailblazer. She was a pioneer. You're a trailblazer. You're a pioneer. I cannot wait to see what you do with this new discernment, focus, transformation, and work. Work hard, trust God, dream big, to see what that turns into by career conference and then seminar 2025. You guys, thank you for participating. Don't squander this opportunity. This time frame is important in Mary Kay, and you're part of it for a reason.
I love her message. There's so many things about it that I absolutely love. And I want to share my takeaways, but I would love to hear some of your guys' takeaways. If you'd like to unmute yourself and share them while you're gathering your thoughts. I right off the bat, I just liked her so much because she blazed a trail through COVID, and I just could identify with that because that was when I first became a director. I didn't know any better. I didn't know what I was even getting myself into. I just was excited, so I shared. And that was the same year that I was Miss USA for Miss America, Miss MK USA. I can't remember what we call it. But it was so much fun building in other states. And you guys, we have a brand new year that just started. We have no states, I think, are filled yet. I don't think we have any of them. So even Idaho, you guys, like in Oregon, we can totally trailblaze anywhere you want right now and build some really cool places. Um, I also really liked that, like, we are trailblazers right now, even in the economy and the situation our world is in right now, with social selling and Zoom appointments and virtual appointments and FaceTime appointments. Like, we're still learning all of that. And even at seminar, they announced that we're going to have some sort of e-commerce platform. We don't know what that is yet, but you guys, that this is trailblazing. We are doing now what they did way back when we first got credit cards and computers. And so we have a great opportunity to take advantage of all these wonderful things that Mary Kay is doing for us to help us stay current with the times. Um, I also really liked that it doesn't matter how small or how saturated your town is. I was thinking of Kelly, you know, and your girls, like it does not matter where you are, or like even in the Treasure Valley, we have lots of directors here. I have never thought of the Treasure Valley as saturated, but when I see all the people that are here, like we have a lot of people who work here, but it's not oversaturated. You're always going to meet different people from different walks of life and different circles. And like we always say, it takes all kinds to reach all kinds. And so I also just wanted to say that like I really need to stop predisposing. I sometimes will get in my head and be like, "Oh, she wouldn't want to do this." But like listening to her talk again, I'm like, "No, everybody needs to know about this opportunity, period. It's up to them for them to decide if they want to run with it or not." Deb Chase says, "Are you burying your talent?" Yeah, that's good. Anybody else want to share? You guys can come off mute.
I really like how all of the trailblazers have all kind of been nationals and done all the things prior to technology. And it just kind of puts things into perspective for us. Like we think things are hard or we think this, and it's like, how hard would that have been to move 36 times in a year and like not had a cell phone or Instagram or Facebook to keep connected? And like, how would it have been to, talk to these people that don't even speak the language? And I mean, it just boggles my mind. We're really spoiled in our technology time, and we need to set those standards high, and we need to be the trailblazers for this part of the change and going forward. And we're kind of like the bridge. We're understanding technology and moving forward with it, but we've also been here enough to understand the in person and the necessity for that, and the reason why people will always need the in-person touch too. And so it's kind of, I think we're like in that trailblaze, we're the bridge of the trailblazing right now. We're the ones that are going to link the past to the future. And that's pretty exciting. But definitely throughout all of these weeks, the common theme has been the trailblazing and doing all the things without the easy stuff that we have now. I can't even imagine going back into those days as we know now how to do it now, how to do, I can't even imagine going back and learning how to do it then. But anyway, that's my takeaway.
Yeah, I had all those things down too, Kelly. It was like, it's mind blowing. But the Spanish flip chart, I just was like, yes, go girl. I'm like, that is so awesome. Um, and we have it so much easier than our predecessors. And we act like we act like it's hard. It's not hard. This business is so simple. Um, book, coach, sell, recruit, repeat. That's it. That's all you have to do. And like everything's so laid out for us. Um, I also wanted to add to it that people don't talk about their dreams. I remember creating a vision board with Heather and my mom, and it was separate occasions, but both times they were like, I don't even know what to put on my vision board. Like they had no idea what they wanted. They thought it was so far out there thinking to even think that they could want something in their life that's not eat, sleep, work, watch TV, repeat, like that cycle of the rat race. And so it's like, how many people out there? Those are two people who are really close to me who see me dream and see my vision boards all the time. And they see me talk about dreams. And so it's like, how many other women are out there who just don't even realize that they can dream so much bigger than they are? Anybody else want to share?
Am I still unmuted? I
Yeah.
love the idea that, she didn't listen to somebody else's limitation or limited beliefs in living in a small town. And as a new director, won her Cadillac. She listened to her director, Debbie Moore, and just did it anyway. right? Because we're not limited to a geographical territory. It's kind of like what Kelly's doing over there. You know, all of you girls, you're not limited to the area that you live in. Sometimes when I started, because when I was actually moving up to director, I remember asking them, you know, like, how much room is there? And this, they can't really say because there's a lot of people who have a consultant number, but not everybody's working the business. So, and that's a number that's a moving target all the time. But one of the things that they used to talk about is there's enough room in a city to have a director for every bank branch. And back then, we did not have anywhere near the amount of banks and credit unions and new banks and new banks. And, you know, really, banks don't really go out that often, but new ones are always starting up and new ones. So, you know, we were kind of going through the list today as we were creating another email group for the Boise directors. And there might be like 10 or 12 here, and that goes all the way to Caldwell to Payette, you know, all the surrounding area. And I would venture to say there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bank branches and credit union branches, meaning there's so much room for growth. And when I was at seminar, I was talking to Tammy Brown down in Idaho Falls. She goes, like, you guys, there's so much wide open room for growth because they have some directors that are really building and developing offspring down there. And she was like, Boise is so untouched. And because they have family here. And she goes, you know, what's going on up there? And people, you know, new directors have moved in, and we have a couple new directors, but there's so much room for growth. And I remember when I was going back and forth about whether or not to, you know, after winning my car to become a director, because it was never my goal when I joined Mary Kay. This is how it was put to me. If you were working a job, you know, part-time, and your boss came to you and said, I'm going to triple to quadruple your pay for taking on a little bit more responsibility, you wouldn't sit there and go, oh my God, I'm not worthy. I don't know if I'm qualified. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know about, you know, the commitment, this, that, whatever the other. You would look at that and you would go, heck yeah, I'll take a, you know, 3 to 4 times the pay and take on a little bit more responsibility. I can learn it as I go. And that's the way Mary Kay's set up. So I just wanted to put that in perspective for everybody because I had no clue what I was doing. And I just listened to the people that said, you know, we need younger directors. And, you know, back then I was probably the closest directors to me when I debuted was at least 20 years older than me. And so that was kind of at that point, I remember going to seminar and going, why aren't there a lot of young directors? And it's because they just don't know about it. And so then I couldn't help but share, even though I said I was never going to do that. So just put it in perspective. And even if directorship's not your goal, understand that you can give yourself a promotion at any time. And it doesn't matter, you know, of course, we're in a pretty big area. Boise's grown like crazy, and Meridian and Nampa and Caldwell and Cuna and Star and Eagle. And like, there's so much room for growth. And our company needs us to share that vision. Okay, I'll shut up now.
That was good. So good. Anybody else?
Okay, one more thing. I'm not going to shut up. Is when she said, don't waste this opportunity. You are here for a reason, even if you don't exactly know what it is. We're learning so much all the time. I always say the work that we do in Mary Kay isn't the work we do in Mary Kay, it's the work we do here. And we're going through so much evolution and growth and shifts and all that kind of stuff in our world. And, you know, she said it actually helped her to have a relationship with God because she really didn't have faith in her life prior to Mary Kay. And so for some, it's that, you know, for some, it is just somebody believes in me and somebody cares. So anyway, don't waste the opportunity.
I love all the excuses that she listed too. Like they're just excuses. When you make something a priority, you make time, you figure it out. Just like, yeah, anything else. I love that. I don't know who said it, but there's a quote floating out around there that if you don't think you have time for something, just say it's not important to me. And then how does that make you feel? You know, that's what I was thinking about when she was listing off all of those. It's like when it's important to us, we make it happen. Which takes you to your why. It's like, why are you doing this? You know, what is your why? And why are you in this business? And, you know, whatever it is that you're in it for, those are the people you're going to attract. So looking for the people who are also looking for the same things that you're looking for, because they'll find you. Anything else?
I just wanted to also add too, from Janine's debut over the weekend that we went to. I thought it was pretty profound when she said, so she's been in Mary Kay like 25 to 27 years, and this is her first time becoming a director. And she said that she got the question all of the time in Mary Kay, like, oh my gosh, is becoming a director so hard? And like, why is it taking you so long and this and that? And she said, no, it's not hard. Once I made the decision to do it, it took me 2 months. And she said that was the pivotal thing, is once she made the decision to do it, it took her 2 months. And not only did she just do the regular part of becoming a director, she hit all of the like extra markers, and she gets to go to the trip with Ryan Rogers down in Texas and stuff. And so it's like, that was it. It was like that mind shift for her. And once she made that decision, there was no looking back. And that's kind of one of the things that I take away from this too. It's like, how many days do we miss opportunities because we're within our own mind, head space, and we don't want to lose and miss those chances. So we need to get out there and do the things.
I love that. Thanks for sharing, Kelly. Anybody else? How about, what are your guys' goals for this week? Like, what is one way that you can show up as a trailblazer this week? Even if it's not like driving to another place, what can you do to be a trailblazer in your business this week?
Have guests at Kelly's debut.
Absolutely. It's a great one.
She stole my answer.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, well, I'm going to do my debut. So that's my weekly thing.
Hmm.
Hey, mine is really stupid, but
There's no stupid.
mine is getting, I know, I say that all the time though, but really, I have a facial tomorrow, and it's the first time I'm doing one on a guy other than my husband, and he's in musicals and stuff, and so I have to get out of my own head of, I know what I'm doing, just it doesn't make a difference that he's a guy, so
Yep.
yeah.
That's
That's
right.
my
Congratulations. That'll be
reason to get
awesome.
like, just do this and it's okay.
Love it.
That's going to be super fun. Anybody else want to share what your goals are for this week? Getting one more booking? Talking to 3 more people?
I did have a goal for the end of the debut. I want to do $3,500 in sales. So I'm going to do a sale and put my debut on Facebook Live. So it is a marketing strategy in addition to just a fun event. So my goal for the end of the debut is $3,500 in sales and 3 recruits. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it'll end Monday.
That's an awesome idea.
That's a big goal.
It's awesome. You can totally do it though.
Yep.
Totally do it. All right. Anybody else? Last call.
My goal for the week. Hi.
Yep.
My goal for the week is to try and get a lot more reorders because I'm about to travel for a whole month. So I'm trying to get in everybody to reorder before I leave. So I don't leave my customers kind of like, what's going on? Where you at? Can you please order something? I'm sorry, I'm in South Africa. No.
Yeah. That's a great goal, Celeste. And how awesome that you get to go share your baby with your father in Swaziland. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be awesome.
I'm super excited, honestly. It's one of those things where I'm like ready to like take her home so she can see my roots, but I'm also just kind of like so sad I'm leaving my husband.
Yeah. He's going to miss you. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. He's going to be so happy when you guys get home.
He's just gonna survive off of pizza and video games. That's what he said.
That's awesome. Any other goals for the week, ladies?
Can
I
you
did
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm at Starbucks. I didn't know if you could hear me. My goal for the week is I'm working the fair and I've got 4 shifts, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And my goal is to book 2 parties out of that
Yes.
before Tuesday.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Good job.
Thank
Also,
you.
girls, I know we said this at the beginning of the announcements. It's not too late to sign up for fair booth time. I think there's a few spots left. The link is pinned in our Inspired National Area group, Facebook group. It's like pinned to the top with the link on how to sign up and all the details. And so if you are like, I don't have a goal this week, I don't know what to do. Maybe it's just to sign up for one shift and go get some new names. Yeah, super easy peasy. It's already decorated for you. The table's decorated for you. All you have to do is show up and talk to people. That's it. It's super simple.
That was one of the very first things I did as a new consultant, and I was petrified and I was so shy. And I remember Rita Wheeler was one of the directors. She's like, go out there and talk to people. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go talk to people. But it teaches you a lot. It gets you out of your comfort zone. And, you know, strangers are just people you haven't met yet. So if you've never done it, it's good to try it. There's so many opportunities, but the Western Idaho Fair, you're going to get all types of people. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. The Western Idaho Fair was my very first vendor event I'd ever done, and I was terrified. I think I got like 4 names because I wouldn't talk to anybody. I was like, no eye contact, don't look at me. But what it did was I saw how good everybody else had done with it. And so I decided I was going to try to find some smaller events. And so that very next, like that October, December, I think it was December, Sawtooth Middle School, which is where my kids go, they have a holiday shop event. And I was like, I'm just going to go and just see because I thought it's a middle school. It'll be really tiny. Well, it's not a small event, it's a very big event for North Meridian. But I got tons of numbers and names and tons of bookings from it and sales. I actually have 2 girls who are still on my team from that event 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago now. And I go every December. So it's super fun now. But you never know what's going to come from it. And just like the Moms and Mimosas that I did in May, it was super fun. So if you have any hesitation whatsoever, I say just do it. Get one under your belt, even if you're terrified, because then you realize it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be. But- all right, Denise, do you want to read from Mary Kay Ash's calendar on the desk? Because I don't have an inspirational close. It's like on the right side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. It says, you will never know how many people have put you on a pedestal and looked up to you. How many are looking up to you to lead them? Make your decision, decide to be your best. You will never know how many people's lives you've helped to make better, but somebody knows. Mary Kay Ash.
Oh, I love that. You know what? That hits my heart too, because I got a couple of messages recently on my social media from consultants who watch our stuff. Okay, you guys, we have tons of YouTube subscribers on our YouTube channel that are not any even in Idaho. They're like all over the US. And it's so cool to see like how everybody's watching what we're doing and like learning things from us that they wouldn't get, otherwhere. And it's kind of fun. It's really fun. But you never know
We have
who's
a very
watching.
special group, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Very special group. All right, ladies, we'll go out there and make this week really awesome and get some guests to Kelly's debut. It's going to be so much fun.
Yay! Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys
So
Thursday.
excited. See you
Thursday.
Thursday. Bye.
Have fun on your trip, Celeste.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, Linda, you want to stay on? Oh, you know what? Let's leave the meeting because it records. Is there a way
okay.
for me to stop the recording? Hold on. No, it's not letting me stop the recording. Okay, I have to end it. Sorry. I'll call you.
Okay.